privilege to be here with you guys, being part of this light panel, and it's an honor to share this with Neha Mathur, my good friend and possibly the best image consultant and etiquette trainer. I am here more to listen to Neha than to share my part, but she said that I need to start, only then she will talk. So I'm starting for that. So the topic that I'm going to talk about is on speak up, and Neha is going to talk about dress up. So speak up is my favorite topic because I've been a communication coach for almost 20 years, and I believe that that's one skill that every child, every adult must possess. And I talk from one particular example. Like, I can see a lot of parents here, right? Good old days, do you remember that little boy or girl in the cradle who would howl his or her lungs out, and then the mom would realize, some dads too, but mostly moms realize why that howling or crying is for, and then you always used to run with that bottle of milk and the crying stops. Do you remember that? Right? Now, most of them have become teenagers from what I see here, at least teenagers, some of them. And what do you do when they cry now? Do you run to them with a bottle of milk or with a bowl of food or something like that? No, you don't, right? It's changed. What has changed? So how did that child who used to get milk by crying when she was 6 months old suddenly can't cry and get the milk? Or what if I, sitting here, cry? Will somebody come with some food for me and say, hey, Manoj, I understand you are hungry, so here is your food? No, it doesn't happen. They might probably open the door, look inside and say, hey, something is wrong with that guy, call the doctor. That's the best that is going to happen. So how did it change? It changed because human beings are this amazing creatures, the most developed, overdeveloped probably, and we've got this amazing skill which is called speaking, right? We just don't cry, make noises, make sounds. We speak, and we speak multiple languages. It doesn't matter which language you speak, but you're always able to tell exactly what you want. And that's the biggest power that human beings possess. Now, think about this. When you were a child, 6 months old, 8 months old, 1 year old, we all tried to walk. We fell down. What if we had given up at that point of time? None of us would be walking. The entire human race would be crawling. But somebody decided that, okay, crawling is not our game. We need to start walking, and we are all walking today. Similarly, somebody said that, okay, we need to speak, and we are all speaking. Had the human race not been walking, what would have happened? Exactly the same thing would have happened if we decide not to speak. So are you somebody who is speaking and is not hesitant to speak? That's the whole point. If you are somebody who's not using the power of speaking, then you are not using the potential that you are born with. And that's my goal. That's my passion. That's what I drive to ensure that every child has this ability to speak. Now, we are all born with that. Are we using that or not? Because I've seen children, and the parents come to me when I speak to them on the public speaking program. Today morning, a mom called me and said that I don't know if I need to send him for a communication program because my problem is that he doesn't stop talking. Okay. I said he is the right candidate who should be sent for a public speaking program. You know why? Because he needs to know exactly what he needs to talk. Because communication is not about non-stop talking. Communication is about talking when you need to talk so that your work is getting done. And as we grow, as we become bigger, as we become entrepreneurs, employees, whatever you're becoming today, that skill becomes your paramount skill. How many of you have been in corporates where you've seen these amazing performers who do everything right, but the moment they are asked to do a presentation, go hiding? And somebody else has to come and give their presentation and take all the claps, and they become the stars. The guy who has actually done it doesn't get the credit. Are you one of them? Or you have this phenomenal chance of presenting yourself in front of a client, but you shiver. You do not know what to talk, how to talk, why to talk. If you are one of them, that's my target. I want to change you into a confident speaker, and that's my goal, that's my passion, that's what I drive. And this is a passion that has turned into a profession. And like Govind said, I've been able to at least reach out to 600 plus children and adults over the last 1 year to make them confident speakers. And I carry that passion even today in terms of ensuring that that change is happening. You know where it started from? It started from a girl's washroom. So some of you are looking at me, why? Why a girl's washroom, right? It started from a girl's washroom because as a child in my 4th standard, I did not have the courage to speak. And instead of going on stage and speaking, I decided to hide myself inside a girl's washroom. Finally, I was caught from there and made to go back on stage and speak on a later occasion. But the trauma that I went through of being bullied, harassed by being called as the boy who was hiding in the girl's washroom made me resolve that come what may, I need to get on stage and speak. And that has been my driving force so far. I do not want a single child to go through that trauma ever again. And that's my drive. And that's what I'm trying to do. Let me come back to my topic in terms of speaking up. Now, speaking is one part, speaking up is another part. Okay, now let me ask a question because I'm told that this is a very interactive session and I've been told by Govind that most of the sessions that are happening, people are ready to participate. Now, one thing that I don't do in any of my communication workshops is that I don't use the chat box. You know why I don't use the chat box? We are here to speak. We are not here to chat. So we are here to speak. So let's speak out. All of you have got unmute buttons. If you don't have, it's a long space button. Press it and you get unmuted. Tell me this answer to this question. Why do you need to speak? Why do we speak in the first place? Can somebody tell me? Aarti, I can see you on the front now suddenly. Thank you so much for coming in, Aarti. And I saw you unmuting also. Are you going to give me an answer? Why do we speak? Doesn't need to wait for a turn, no hands up and all that stuff. Just unmute and talk.
To communicate, to interact.
To let the other person know what we want.
To let the other person know what we want, to communicate. Shashindra, Aarti, thank you so much. Madhu, you are saying something.
Yeah, obviously it's a communication.
Yeah.
You need to communicate.
Communication is a big word, right? Communication is a big word. Now I see Sam as a photographer.
To share.
Say something.
To share your idea with others, what you are thinking.
Share your ideas, okay?
And
Transfer ideas.
Share the expressions.
Share expression, okay?
To share our feelings.
Just to speak.
Just to speak, say Ratnaji. Just to speak. Okay.
Just to logically
Expressing our views.
There is a purpose for it, right? There is a
to logically connect with other people what
living
there in your
person.
mind.
Sorry,
Because
Sam. Sorry, you were saying something, Sam. Sam?
No, you're a living person. You're not a dead person. You need
You are a living person, so you are speaking. Just like you're walking, you're eating, you're drinking. Just
Exactly.
like speaking is part of it. But why do we speak? We walk because we need to reach the destination. We don't work.
Exactly.
Today, COVID is a different situation because people are walking inside their houses round and round and round. That is a different situation. But is speaking like that? Do you speak just for the sake of speaking?
to work with others.
Okay. Now, interesting answers coming up. The first thing that I want to kind of demystify here is that communication is a big word. We don't speak to communicate. You know why? Sam communicates through his camera. Govind communicates through his websites. Neha communicates through the ideas she gives in terms of how to dress up. Each of us communicate differently. So communicate isn't a big word. I'm just kind of narrowing down to speaking. Why do we speak? Because when you start speaking, you're able to communicate. Just become one part of that. Sam doesn't need to speak to communicate. He just needs a camera and the communication is there. All of you, doesn't matter which category you belong to. Manjunath can do a steel fabrication and he can communicate because that's what he does. Similarly, why do we communicate? I want to give you a first clue. This is a clue that I normally give to the children, but I'm thinking that some of you want to learn something from here after spending a good Wednesday afternoon at 3 o'clock. After some of you have had BNI meetings. I also had a BNI meeting in the morning. Some of you have done your BNI stuff and you're between a lot of stuff. So do you want to take away something from this? Let me give you a simple takeaway. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, and I'm going to go with my program that I do for children. And from there now, communication is going strong. So if you can mute yourself after that, it'll be great. Let me talk about what I think we communicate for. And I call it a very interesting terminology. It's called the 3 I's. We communicate to satisfy the 3 I's of communication. Now, what are these 3 I's? Okay. Now, let me give you an example. And I'm again taking an example of this. Say, for example, COVID happened. Let me take a serious example. COVID happened. Okay. And a lot of people lost their jobs. There were daily wage workers living in slums and all that stuff. So there was one slum near my house wherein a lot of people were not having anything to eat. I come to this group and say that, hey guys, we have almost 68 of us in this room. Do you know that there is a colony next to my house and almost some 300 people do not have food. They have nothing to eat. Okay. What is this? What did I just do? Can somebody tell me? I actually did the first I of communication. It starts with an I.
Information.
Wow, Kushbu is here. She has all answers, including this. Thank you, Kushbu. We just had the first I of communication, and that is called information. Okay. Now let me go a little simpler step. Okay. How many of you have ever used a health drink? I don't want to name it, but for the sake of it, let me say a Bonvita or a Boost or a Horlicks or any of that stuff, or want to buy it for the Sandhita, all both the hands up there. Okay. Now, have you seen their ad, Sandhita? Have you seen the ad of this company? Okay. How it starts? It starts by saying that this is my drink and it has got carbohydrates, minerals, vitamins, proteins, fat, sugar, blah, blah, blah. Would Sandhita says, wow, I want to buy that drink? That's information given to you, right? That's information given to you. Carbon, what is that? Carbohydrates, proteins, minerals, vitamin, fat, sugar, and in a brown color bottle. And Sandhita jumps up and says, this is the one I want. Has it ever happened? No.
I've actually fallen for it. So.
Which one? The information? Only the information of what is contained in that bottle? Nobody.
The information.
Okay. Now, information is unfortunately where 80%, 85% of our communication stops. Now go back to your entrepreneurial journeys. Go back to the promotions that you're doing. Go back to the posters you're making. Go back to the communication you're giving. Go back to the 30 seconds, the 8 minutes you're giving. Go back to the one-to-ones you're doing, or go back to the introductions you're giving. 85% of it ends in just giving information. Now what happens? Now, Kushbu is here. Let me take Kushbu's example. Okay. Kushbu. Okay. Now, Kushbu, you are hungry, for example. Okay. What is your favorite food, Kushbu? I know your favorite food, but for the sake of the rest of them, can you tell me what is your favorite food? Now, if you're suddenly hungry, what do you feel like eating?
Biryani.
Biryani, right? And what biryani is that?
Chicken biryani.
Chicken biryani. Chicken dum Hyderabadi biryani is what Kushbu wants. Okay.
Yes.
Kushbu turns around and says, I am hungry. To whoever is cooking. What are the chances of you getting a Hyderabadi dum biryani, Kushbu?
0%.
0%. Why? Because you're just given an information. Now what are you going to get? You're going to get that curd rice which was cooked yesterday.
Thank you.
Why? Because that person feels like giving a curd rice. Kushbu wants biryani, you get a curd rice. Think about this. Does it happen to you? You want something, but you're just given an information. That person gives what they want to give. BNI context, non-BNI context, business context, entrepreneurial context, this is exactly what happens, because you just give information and expect results. My dear friends, results do not happen by giving information. You need to go to the next step of communication. The next step of communication is simple. I gave you the example of the slum near my house. I come and say 300 people are not having food. Now, you know what? Me and my friend have decided that we are going to feed at least 100 of them. So we are going to pack food from our houses and go and give to 100 of them. Now, what would your reaction be to that? Would you say, hey, wow, nice, good job, guys. Clap, 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 clap. Okay. Maybe I will get a standing ovation if I was in a BNI meeting. Nothing beyond that. Okay. Or one of you is going to put it in the one of the groups saying that Manoj did a fantastic, phenomenal job, and all of them will clap there. It ends there. Okay. Think about the Horlicks Bonvita, guys. They showed you the bottle, carbohydrates, minerals, and all that stuff. Sandhita did not get encouraged by that. But you know what they do next? They show you that boy who's trying to bowling and bowling and bowling, and the balls are all going left, right, and over. Nothing is not even going towards the wicket. You know what he does next? He goes and picks up that glass of that liquid, whatever is that health drink, drinks on it, and the next ball is hitting the middle stump. Black. Now you say, wow, look at that boy. One glass of that drink and he's hitting the wicket. Okay. Let's go to Kushbu's house. Biryani, curd rice. Now Kushbu says, Kushbu, who cooks? I know it is you, but otherwise?
Mom cooks otherwise.
Kushbu says, Mama, you know something? Last birthday of mine, you made that chicken biryani. Yummy. I don't know why it's drooling in my mouth. Kushbu's drooling now, I know that. It's right here in my tongue. Drooling in my mouth. Okay. Now, Kushbu, what are your chances of getting that biryani?
99.9%.
Slightly better. It's not 99 yet. It is slightly better. At least 50%. You still might get that curd rice. Mama will say, hey, you do this every time here. So this time also curd rice only for you. And she might add some pickle to make you happy. Okay. Now, the Bonvita guy has also reached 50%. Sandhita now says, okay, it's working. Okay. Or that little boy says, Papa, I want that. Because why? I want to get the wicket. Or they go one step further. The boy was only 3 feet tall. He drinks that bottle and then suddenly he's 4.5 feet now. And the mama says, I also want my boy to grow. What have you done? You've made that wow factor in that. You've still not achieved the 100%. You've hit the 50%. That, my dear friends, is called inspiring. You started inspiring. So that's the second part. 95% of our communication ends with inspiration. Again, it is left to whom? The other person to react. Not your communication is still at the mercy of the other person. It has not reached a level wherein that person is going to do something about it. But we want 100% results, right? So where is that 5% lying? The 5% lying in the third part. That slum, 300 people hungry, information. Me and my friend are going to give 100, inspiration. And I say, we have 70 people in this room now. If all of us pull in together, we will be able to feed all 300 of them. How many of you are with me? Please raise your hands.
Yeah, I am with you.
Some of them will raise their hands, right? What have I done now? This is exactly what, my dear friends, Kushbu will do to her mom. Wherein she says, Mama, I am hungry. That biryani you made in my birthday, it is drooling. Is there any chance, Mama, that I can have that biryani for today? Mama will drop everything that she is doing and get into making that biryani. You may not get it for lunch because it is short time, definitely for dinner. Worst come worst, she will feel so sad. She will actually order it in Swiggy and get it for you. But you will get your biryani. Okay? The Horlicks guy, the child was bowling, hit the middle stump. Now who comes in? Virat Kohli comes into bat. And that boy, after having the second drink, hits the wicket. Virat Kohli is bowled out. Which mama would say no to that drink, my dear friends? Which mama would say that boy is 4.5 feet now and he's putting that basketball just like dunking the basketball? Who will say no to that, my dear friend? You know where we have reached? We have reached the ultimate stage of communication. Can anybody guess what is that? Which is the right?
Influence.
Inspire.
Influencing. Thank you, Raj, for that. We started influencing the other person to do what? Take an action.
Action.
In marketing terms, we call it the call to action. In simple terms, we can call it influencing. Go back, check your communication. Is it influencing? Is it just inspiration? Or are you just informing people? If you're doing that, my dear friends, your communication will go do wonders. Okay. I want to give one last tip, and before I wind up, because I know my time is up, work on the magic mantra. This is a magic mantra. Any communication, any business that you're doing, you know what is the biggest mistake we do? The biggest mistake we do is we try to sell. The moment you realize the 3 I's of communication, you don't need to sell anymore. You know what happens? You make them buy from you. The moment you start making them buy from you, you don't need marketing. You don't need sales. You don't need business development. You need your chapter. You need your folks to tell them what you do. They will come and buy from you. But is the information influencing enough for people to take action on your communication. If you're able to do that, my dear friends, your communication is spot on and your results are going to be spectacular. Thank you so much. My name is Manoj Telakad and these are my contact numbers. I'm happy to answer any questions you have at this point of time. I leave you with my 3 eyes because I think that's the spark that you can carry from here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Manoj.
Manoj, thank you very much.
Thank you, Manoj. Thank you. Super.
Amazing is an understatement. Thank you very much. Very little time. It's an amazing job. Thank you very much.
I kept 20 minutes so that others can have the questions because otherwise Neha is going to kick me because I would have taken her time also.
Great. So what we can do is you can stop your screen and maybe we can have people, let's see the face and we can start questions.
Yes.
Manoj, Rajendra here.
Hi Rajendra, how are you?
Yeah, good. You said don't sell, but make people to buy. How do you make them buy without selling?
Simple concept. I didn't have the time to go through it. As a simple concept that we talk about what we call as a unique selling point. Have you heard the unique selling point, right?
Yeah, USP.
Okay, what is a unique selling point? It's a selling point of your product. Now say for example, you are an insurance agent. What is the unique selling point? The unique selling point is of that LIC or Bajaj or whoever it is that you are selling. Okay? There are lakhs and lakhs of agents who are using the same products, having the same selling point. But does Rajendra have a unique buying from you? That buying point is what needs to get communicated through the 3 eyes. If you're able to communicate that, the product and the company will take care of their USP, you will take care of your UBP, which is a unique buying point. You will never have to sell again. People will come and buy from you. I'll give you my example. 600 students, 0 marketing cost, no social media, nothing. Everything has happened from word of mouth.
Okay.
50 batches have gone full only with word of mouth. How does it happen? Because people know what I sell. I don't sell, they buy from me.
In fact, Manoj, we have given up using word USP in our corporate world also now. We are using only unique buying point while we are doing a lot of presentations also.
USP is gone. USP is with me.
It's gone.
I hope I have answered you, Rajendra.
If I can say something,
Manoj.
You're making women's life even harder.
Sorry?
You're making women's life even harder. मम्मियाँ तो वैसे ही मना नहीं करती, पापा को मनाओ खाना बनाने के लिए.
I took Kushbu's example. If it was my house, I would have taken my example.
Nisha, this is the learning for us. The inspire has to happen for the men, so we need to understand that communication. And maybe Manoj will teach us that now because he said he'll take his example. That means this man is cooking. So yeah, we need to learn from him.
I didn't say Mama cooks. Kushbu said Mama cooks. Sorry.
No. So Nisha, just use the 3 eyes to inspire the dads to cook now. You have the tool. You just have to use it.
Exactly. All the mamas here, you're going to be used like this.
Great. So we have any more questions for Manoj?
30 seconds. I just want to say, Manoj, I've seen the journey from the first workshop till today. Dude, super. Like you're growing with everything. Super. Absolutely fantastic.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thanks, Kushbu, for that.
Great. So any more questions on public speaking, stage fear? Will Manoj get afraid every time he starts speaking?
Govind, I'm open to feedbacks also because that's one part of the journey. I can see some of them not having questions because they are masters in this. So
lovely one, Manoj. I was listening to you. Of course, we are together at the MSP, but it's wonderful.
Manoj, I have a question for you.
Arvinder, yes.
Yes. So Manoj, I'm fairly new to BNI, and what I got to know recently was that you were actually in a different category in BNI, and then changed categories during the lockdown. So I was curious to know about that. If you could just tell us about how and why the transition.
Okay. Public speaking has been a passion for 20 years. I've never made it a profession. I only used to do it whenever I got free time. Then that passion actually took over as a profession. So I continue to do programs. So when I said 50 programs, it has been a span of just around 40 weeks that I've conducted these programs. And I'm running one program just got over, the 52nd one is happening. So I thought I'll give more time, and there is no other platform to launch a new product or service like BNI. So all thanks to BNI for giving me that courage. Thanks to mentors like Rajesh, Sushil, all of them who are here to give me that courage to say that, okay, you can go ahead and still do it. It doesn't matter what your category is. You could be the next person who wants to land people on Mars. Come to BNI as a category. You will get people to go to Mars with. That's BNI.
Awesome. Thank you.
Without
That's really
doubt.
encouraging and motivating. Follow
That
your
was-
passion.
I
That
would
was
just
fantastic.
say, how
Fantastic.
we trainers judge another person in public speaking is where the time went. I don't know where the half an hour went. So it was entertaining, it was information, it was inspiration. Everything what you promised, you delivered.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sushil. I couldn't thank you for that feedback. Thank you so much, Sushil, for that. Yes,
Okay, one last feedback. As
Yes.
your speech is ending, the number of members in the room is growing.
Some of them missed it. So that they're all coming for Neha, Sushil. Neha gave out the information that she's doing second. So they're all.
I'm just setting up the inspiration for her.
Sam, sorry, you were saying something and I got missed out there, Sam.
No, that was a fantastic intel, and what is the basic thing that's necessary to communicate with anybody, and just to the 3 eyes was like an eye opener. Many things we know, but how do you really compile it and put across and then understand the significance is what the clarity I got today. So thank you, Manoj.
Thank you. Anyone wants to reach out to me, numbers are in the background. Please connect up on WhatsApp. That's the best way to reach out to me. Thank you so much.
Manoj, last, this Venkatesh here. Yeah, the thing is the example what you gave, no, we cannot forget. We may forget your points, 3 eyes. The example is making lot of, we can never forget that. Yeah, thank you, Manoj. Yeah.
Venkatesh's son was part of my public program last week. Neha's daughter. Yes. Many of you guys are parents of my students. Thank you.
So thank you very much. Thank you very much for this amazing session. And it's